Hello again, kiddos. This is lesson 34 of 4th grade Excel. And today we're going to be learning the order of operations and then how to solve an equation. I call this a very important lesson. This is called two numbers and a blank in my sloppy stylus writing. Ooh, two numbers and a blank. Okay. So remember that. This is a very, very important lesson. It's one that kids get constantly confused on, so I want you to pay super close attention to this. And we're also going to be learning a little bit of algebra having to do with answering equations that have letters in them. So big lesson today. Pay super close attention. And I do have a riddle for you. Why did the birdie go to the hospital? Why did the birdie go to the hospital? You'll have to stay tuned and find out the answer to that later. If you have an equation, 3 times 4 minus 2 equals, you would first multiply the 3 and the 4, and then, or would you subtract the 2 from the 4? What would you do first? Well, I should have said that as a question. The idea here is, are you going to solve it like this, or are you going to solve it like that? 3 times 4 is 12. 12 minus 2 is 10. If I do the subtraction part first, 4 minus 2, then I would get 2 to that, and 3 times 2 is 6. You can see I get two completely different numbers for an answer depending on the order that I do that in. Well, mathematicians, as it tells us down here, have written rules for solving number statements so we don't end up with two different answers, one kid getting this one and one kid getting that one. There's some rules that you have to follow when you're doing multiple operations. In other words, when you're adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing. You're going to learn a little bit more complicated rules later on in your mathematical career, but right now you need to know this. First, you're going to do the parentheses, the numbers in the parentheses. Secondly, you're going to multiply or divide from left to right. So you're going to start on this side, work your way over that way, and just do all the multiplication and division next. The third thing you're going to do is add or subtract, again going from the left to the right. Therefore, the right way to do this one is to do the multiplication first. 3 times 4 is 12. 12 minus 2 is 10. So the answer to this one is 10. This is a wrong answer right there. All right, so let's take a look at some sample problems and we can practice this. I was going pretty fast on there. You might want to rewind and watch that part again. So here are some little bit more complicated equations. First of all, I want you to understand that this equal sign does not mean the answer is right here. That's equals does not mean the answer. It means that whatever is on the left side of the equal sign has to be the same as what's on the right side of the equal sign. So if I have a 10-pound egg over here, I have to have a 10-pound egg over there. Otherwise, this is not equal to each other. It has nothing to do with the answer is type of a thing. It's just that both sides are the same. Think of it like one of those balances, you might have seen those kind of go like this, and they have the little basket hanging off of it. You got the little basket hanging over here off of this side, and whatever you put in this side, you got to put the same amount of stuff in that side, otherwise it's going to become unbalanced. Okay? That's what an equal sign is. The equal sign is right there in the middle, keeping both sides the same. So the way we're going to solve these is we have this big long equation to start. 2 plus 3 times 2 in parentheses equals some number that we don't know at the beginning of the problem plus 5. First thing we're going to do is solve for the parentheses, because parentheses always come first. That's your show work right there. They put a little 6 up there. You must do that. Write the answer to the parentheses part above the parentheses. The next thing we're going to do is we solve whatever else we can. We have 2 plus 6. Can I solve that? Yes, I can. So I'm going to rewrite my equation down here with an 8, because 6 plus 2 is equal to 8. Then I copy the equal sign straight down there. I'm going to copy the blank. At first, there's not going to be a 3 in there. I'm going to copy the plus sign, and I'm going to copy the 5. I cannot combine a blank plus a 5. What would I get if I put those together? There's no way to do that, so I just leave it as blank plus 5. 8 equals blank plus 5. obviously there's a 3 in that blank that makes this side over here equal to 8, and that side is equal to 8. 8 on this side, 3 plus 5 is 8, so 8 on that side. What I did, here's the really important part that kids get mixed up on. I kept everything on this side of the equal sign on that side of the equal sign. So 3 times 2 is 6, 6 plus 2 is 8. Everything stayed over here on that side and boiled down to just become the number 8. Everything on this side of the equal sign also stayed over there, and it stayed in the same order. I did not switch this to be 5 plus blank. I kept it as the blank first, then the plus sign, and then the 5 when I copied it down to here. My final justification or show work here is 2 numbers, 8 and 5, and a blank, and the 3 went in the blank. I'm going to do a couple more with you like that so you can understand. This is really tricky for kids, so please pay close attention. I'm sure you can get it though if you do. So here we have a problem, number 2. Let's do this one together. First of all, we do what's in the parentheses. 3 plus 4 is 7, so write a little 7 right up above there. The next thing I'm going to do is rewrite the equation with 2 numbers and a blank. Let me first do it the wrong way. Do not copy this. Here's the wrong way. You could write 15 minus blank equals 0. I'm keeping it in the same order, times 7. Well, I do not have 2 numbers and a blank that I wrote down here. I have 1, 2, 3 numbers and a blank. That's wrong. I can combine the 0 times 7 together and make that a 0. Now I have 2 numbers and a blank. This is done correctly. Okay, let me show you another wrong way to do this one. You can see I erased all that there. So let me show you another wrong way. Some kids might rearrange the order. So they would do that's equal to 7 first, and then they do 7 times 0, and so they write a 0 over here equals 15 minus blank. That's wrong. I don't want to bring this over to this side and that over to that side. Incorrect. Don't do that. Okay, now that you've seen me do it well, let me do it one more wrong way. Here's another wrong way to do it. I might do this is equal to 7, and then I could do 0 times 7 is 0, so I might do blank minus 15 equals 0, because I have the 0 over there on that side. This is still wrong because I took the 15, moved it here, and the blank over there. You see, I reversed the order of the problem there. Now, it just so happens that this answer is going to come out the same whether I reverse the order or not, but I want you to be in a habit of keeping everything in the order that you see it in the original problem. Okay, now what I want you to do is try this problem the right way. Just do number 2. See if you can boil it down to 2 numbers and a blank down here, and then solve for the number that's in the blank. Pause the video, try that, turn it back on when you're ready to see the solution. Okay, so here's how you should have solved it. You should have made that a 7, and then you're rewriting the equation, 15 minus keeping it in the same order. I'm not crossing over anything. 15 minus blank, then I copy the equal sign. 0 times 7 is equal to 0. What number goes in the blank? 15, because 15 minus 15 is 0. All right, go ahead and pause the video. Try number 3 on your own. Turn it on when you're ready to see the solution to that one. Don't mess up. You can't reverse the order. You have to boil it down to 2 numbers and a blank for your final show work. All right, so you should have tried this one on your own. Let me show you the correct answer first. 8 minus 1 is 7. 2 times 4 is 8. And then I can combine the 2 plus the 7 together to get 9. Notice I'm bringing that straight down. Equals 8 plus blank. And then obviously the answer is 1. Okay, now don't mess up on this. If you didn't show your work just like that, let me show you the wrong ways to do this so you can see if you did it this way, it's wrong. Let's say you put a 7 right there and you put an 8 right there. Okay, so most of you probably did that. You cannot write 2 plus 7 equals 8 plus blank. Think, why is that wrong according to what I've told you so far? It's because you have 1, 2, 3 numbers and a blank. 3 numbers in the blank. No, 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 no. We got to boil this down to 2 numbers in a blank. This 2 plus 7 can easily be written as a 9. Let me show you another example of how not to do this. Erase that there. Another wrong way to do it. Call that 7. Call that 8. And then do 8 plus blank equals 9. Okay, in this wrong example, I switched these from side to side. You cannot do that. Make sure you keep it in the same order and you end up with 2 numbers and a blank. All right, we have 3 problems given to you here, and their words on your paper you should see nothing, and you're going to have to fill in the problems themselves. So here are the words for these. I know they're really small. Some of you might not be able to read these, so I'm going to read them to you, and then you're going to actually write the equation. You don't have to write these little tiny words on your page. You just have to write the equation themselves. We'll do number 4 kind of together here. This says 3 times, and then in parentheses, 4 minus 1. So you're going to write 3 times, and then do in parentheses 4 minus 1, and then it says equals, so I'm going to write the equal sign. 2 times 2 is in parentheses, 2 times 2 plus 5. So you write plus 5 out there. Okay, go ahead and if you don't have that written yet, copy that down, pause the video, solve it, and then turn the video back on. Well, I can see that there's actually a typo here because they never gave you a blank in there. I'm just going to give you a blank. I'm going to say that this number is missing right there. That 5, that's okay. It's easy to solve these. The hard part is boiling it down to 2 numbers and a blank. So I want this to be your blank when you boil it down. So pause the video now and don't write the 5 in there. Just put a blank there and see if you can boil it down to 2 numbers and a blank. Okay, so you should have already tried it on your own. You should have first done 4 minus 1 is 3 because that's in parentheses. 2 plus 2 is 4. And then 3 times 3 is 9. If you wrote 3 times 3 right down here, that's not right because you're going to end up with 3 numbers in a blank. I'm going to do 3 times 3, which is 9. I copy the equal sign. I copy the 4 plus blank. And of course, the answer is already given to you. You have a 5 in there. All right, you're going to try to write this next one on your own and solve for it. I'm going to change one of these to a blank because they don't have any blanks in there. That 8 is going to be a blank instead. And of course, you already know the answer, but the hard part is showing your work as 2 numbers and a blank down below. So pause the video and fill this in on number 5. I will read it to you if you cannot read it. If you can read it, just go ahead and pause the video and then solve it. It says in parentheses 8 minus 2 minus 0 equals 8 minus, or blank, we're going to put a blank right there, blank minus, in parentheses, 5 minus 3. So the problem that you should have written looks like this. 8 minus 2, in parentheses, minus 0, equals blank minus 5 minus 3. All right, and it's kind of hard for me to fit that in there, but you get the idea. Then you should have solved this by doing 8 minus 2 is 6, 5 minus 3 is 2, and then 6 minus 0. If you wrote 6 minus 0 right here, you did that wrong. You can combine that together. 6 minus 0 is equal to 6. Copy the equal sign straight down, equals blank minus 2. And what minus 2 is equal to 6? Some kids are going to put a 4 in here because they're thinking like 6 minus 4 is 2. But the answer is actually 8. 8 minus 2 is equal to 6, and that side's equal to 6. All right, let me get this erased off of here. And then you're going to do number 6. So if you can't read that, let me help you to read it. It says 2 times, parentheses 2 times 3, equals 2 times 6 times 1. And on this one, I want you to leave this one as a blank. 2 times, so don't put a 2 in there, just put a blank times 2 times 3 equals 2 times 6 times 1. All right, and you should have written this, blank times, in parentheses, 2 times 3 equals, parentheses, 2 times 6 times 1. And then you do solve for the parentheses first. That's 6, that's 12. And then you rewrite it down below. Blank times 6. Whichever side has the blank on is normally going to have a number with it. A blank and a number. Blank times 6 equals, and then this other side says 12 times 1 out here, so that's equal to 12. And of course the number that goes in the blank, as we've already been given that, is 2. This next section we're learning about solving for letters. Now when I was a kid I thought that x was always the same number, but x is just simply means missing number in a number equation, or y, or a, or b, or m, or n, or k, or l like you see here. It just means that it's representing a number. It's kind of like a blank in there. So number 7 says that x is equal to 3. So this x right there we're going to call a 3. Y is equal to 4, so the y is going to be a 4. Notice they wrote these little tiny numbers up there, and 3 plus 4 is equal to 7. Z is equal to 7. This is not hard. You shouldn't have any trouble with this section here. Go ahead and pause the video. Try numbers 8 through 10. Turn it back on when you're ready for the solutions. A, it says, is 5. If you didn't do this yet, write a little 5 up there. B is 2. Write a little 2 up there. And then 5 times 2 is equal to 10 because C is now equal to 10. All right, M is 8. Write a little 8 up there. N is 2. 8 divided by 2 is equal to 4. They don't even give you something to write with that. You just put a 4 out there. Same thing with this. Watch out on this one though. K is 3. That's over here. L is 9. If you reverse those, you did it backwards. 9 minus 3 is equal to 6. All right, and let's see. The birdie went to the hospital to get tweetment. Went to the hospital to get tweetment.